What's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about linear fusion rifles, what are the buffs and changes that they're getting going into Heresy, what are the best ones, and also where to get them, and the roles that you should be looking for on your linear fusion rifles. We're going to be going over all of that, so hopefully you guys enjoy it, and if you guys do, remember to leave a comment down below telling me your favorite linear fusion rifle, and also leave a like on the video. But let's get into it, and first we got to talk about the actual buffs the linear fusion rifles are getting. So there's main two reasons why the linear fusion rifles are about to be amazing. One of them is just a straight up buff. Linear fusion rifles are getting a 10% damage buff against all combatants. No matter what it is, they're just going to be doing 10% extra damage. So that overall, it's going to be pretty good. And the second reason is the return of the particle reconstruction mod, which is going to be the reason that we're heading into this linear fusion rifle meta. Particle reconstruction is going to let your linears refill themselves from reserves, as well as give you some extra damage. Both perfect things for you doing more damage. And the great thing about this is that it doesn't just work on the linear fusion rifles, it actually also works on the normal fusion rifles. So both your linears and your normal fusion rifles overall are going to be doing more damage next season. But in this video we're only going to be looking at the linears. We might talk about the normal fusion rifles on a different video. So those two main changes are basically going to combine and make the fusion rifles into the top DPS weapons of next season. So now let's actually take a look at what are some of the best fusion rifles that you should be going for. First of all, we're going to be taking a look at the best linear fusion rifles that you can still get right now, and the ones that are currently available, so you can go out and actually farm them. And then afterwards we'll talk about some of the other really good ones that may not be available anymore, but they're still good, and if you have them, you should definitely use them. So let's get started. So we're going to be starting off with one of the newest linear fusion rifles in the game, and that is the Cellation from the Nightfalls and from the Grandmaster Nightfalls. So you can actually get some adept mods on this one if you have an adept one. And this actually might be the best linear fusion rifle outside of some of the raid ones, so if you don't do any raids, this is the one that you want to aim for. And this one is fantastic for a couple of different reasons. It's an adaptive burst, meaning that it's going to be really good at stacking the artifact mod, and it's also going to be putting out a little bit more burst damage than just a regular linear fusion rifle. And it also comes with some fantastic perk choices, but the ones that you want to look for on this linear fusion rifle are going to be bait and switch with either rewind rounds or envious assassin. But I kind of like rewind rounds a little more, since you don't really have to do anything to get it going. All you have to do is start doing DPS, and you're going to be able to shoot a couple of extra shots every single time just by shooting the weapon. This is why I like rewind rounds so much. There's no setup, there's not anything like that. You're just always going to have essentially a bigger magazine. And the bigger that you make your base magazine, the more you can proc rewind rounds, the more you can just keep firing this thing for a long time without having to reload. Hopefully a couple of you guys already have some of these. It has been in the Nightfall pool for a little bit. I did make a video back when I got released telling you guys to get a good one of these, just in case the linears got a good. And now that it's happened, hopefully you guys have one in the vault. If you guys don't, you could just buy a regular one from Zavala with engrams. Even if it's not adept, it is still going to be a fantastic linear fusion rifle just with the base perks. So this one's going to be really strong and also fairly easy to get, and that's why I recommend that you go for this one first, and I wanted to put it here at the very beginning. The next weapon we have is the Spectrum 4FR, the Stasis linear that was added with Final Shape. And this one is pretty good. This got some really good perks, but the main downside of this weapon is that since it is a world drop, it is a little bit harder to get. You either have to get really lucky with just like your random engram drops, or you have to go farm some lost sectors the day this thing is available. But it does have some pretty good perks and may actually be one of the best linears for any content involving champions, because it can actually get choke clip. And you know how good choke clip is against champions. If you get choke clip plus envious assassin, this thing is gonna be a champion destroyer in basically any GM or endgame content without champions. It can definitely do some damage. It can get envious with precision instrument, but when it comes to damage, it is definitely not as good as some of the other ones. With this one, you're definitely looking for that choke clip roll for the utility that comes with it. So you either want choke clip plus envious assassin. The more ammo you get into your magazine, the more you can use choke clip. Or if you do want to take it and do some damage with it, you can go with envious on precision instrument. You can also enhance this one so you can enhance the precision instrument so it does a little more damage. This is one that I definitely been saving and I have used a couple of times in the GMs, and it's fantastic. And that was before all the buffs that the linears are getting, so it's going to be even better next season. And I'm pretty much just going to take this thing into every GM and just do a ton of damage. The next linear we're taking a look at is going to be the Lion in the Sand, and this thing is just okay. I don't think this one is as good as some of the other ones that we've seen, but it's very easy to get since you could just pick it up from Failsafe. This one is the one that was brought back with Episode Echoes, and the role that you're looking for if you're trying to do DPS with this one is going to be Bait and Switch plus Clown Cartridge. That's going to be your best bet. That way you can get a bunch of shots out there and essentially always have a bigger magazine with Clown Cartridge. So, not bad, but definitely not the best linear fusion rifle, but I think it kind of makes up for it just because of how easy it is to get. Or if you're looking for specifically an arc linear fusion, then this one can be a pretty good choice. And while we're talking about these easy to get fusion rifles, I think that we should mention the Typen for FR. This thing, surprisingly, it is still a very popular linear fusion rifle. A lot of people are still using this one, and it's still for a good reason. It's still a pretty solid linear fusion rifle. Sure, some of the perks are a little bit outdated, but triple tap plus firing line is still pretty decent. And this one has to be the easiest one of all the fusion rifles to get, especially since you don't need to rely on RNG. You have to just go to the Enclave, pick up the crafting quests, and by the end of it, you'll be able to craft your perfect Typen. I think that's definitely what's keeping it still popular to this day. So if you guys have not even a single linear fusion rifle, maybe you're new to the game, or you're just trying to get one with a decent roll, then the Typen is still a really good choice. You go from having not a Typen to a God roll Typen in maybe like 30 minutes to an hour. So it's still a fantastic beginning linear fusion rifle. And now let's actually start getting into some of the other good linear fusion rifles you may actually have in the vault. Now some of these next ones we're going to be taking a look at, they either come from raids, or they are not currently available, like you can't get them anymore. So you actually had to already been playing during the time with these linears were available to actually have one. So first let's start with the raid ones, and both of the raid linear fusion rifles are pretty amazing. So first of all, let's start with the OG, the Cataclysm, and even after all these years, this weapon, it is still an amazing linear fusion, mostly because of the combo Bait and Switch and 4 times the charm. 4 times the charm not only makes it so you can fire more shots without having to reload, but it also just gives you ammo just out of thin air, meaning that you just get a lot more damage out of your limited amount of ammo. So it's a fantastic linear fusion for any type of like boss DPS. And since it has been out for years, a lot of you guys probably have this and also may actually be able to craft this thing. So it's gonna be a great time to pull out your Cataclysms. Now the other linear comes from Root of Nightmares and is Briar's Contempt, and this one's also a very good one. It's got some really great perks like Envious Assassin, Rewind Rounds, Reconstruction, while also being able to pair it up with Focus Fury, and in some niche situations, even some Surround It. But most of the time you're going to end up rocking this with Focus Fury, with either 4 times the charm or Reconstruction. Both of them essentially let you fire a lot more with this weapon and just put out a ton of burst damage. And it's just going to get better with some of the mods. Both of these are fantastic choices, so definitely check your bolt, or if you have these things crafted, definitely craft one if you haven't, because they're going to be really good next season. And lastly, I want to take a look at 2 final Adaptive Burst linears that are also really good, but unfortunately you cannot currently get them. So you have to either have the pattern for this so you can craft it, or have a really good one in the vault. And that is the Doom Petitioner from Season of the Wish, and also the Mistro Lift from the Dawning that we just ended a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully you guys kept a good fusion rifle. If you guys didn't, then you guys will not be seeing this fusion for a while. Now Doom Petitioner has some really good perks, but the ones that you're going to be looking for is going to be Precision Instrument, plus either Reconstruction or Envious Assassin. You essentially want to overflow the magazine as much as you can, and then you sit there and fire all your bullets with Precision Instrument, taking advantage of that 30% damage increase when it's fully stacked up. What's really good about this one is that since it's a craftable weapon, even if you guys did not save one, but you did grab the patterns, you can go and just craft this thing with a God roll. Now for the Mistro Lift, this is like the most recent of the linear fusion rifles that we actually have gotten, and this thing has just so many good perks. You have Precision Instrument, just like with the last one, but you also have Bait and Switch, meaning that you can just immediately have that 30% damage increase, and it's going to work a little bit better on this weapon because of the perks that we can pair it up with. Mainly MBS Arsenal. This is the only linear fusion rifle, at least for now, that can get MBS Arsenal. An MBS Arsenal plus Bait and Switch is just a ridiculous combo, especially once you enhance both of the perks. Not only is your Bait and Switch going to last longer, but you're also going to have increased reserves with MBS Arsenal. It's pretty much everything that you would want for a DPS phase. It auto reloads the weapon, it lets you carry more with the weapon, and it gives you a big 30% damage. This is probably the best fusion rifle just in the game right now. The synergy with these two perks are just amazing, but even if you did not get the Bait and Switch MBS Arsenal combo, then you also have some other really good perks like Clown Cartridge, MBS, or even Reconstruction. As long as you have any of those perks with Bait and Switch, it is still going to be a really good fusion rifle. So make sure that you keep these two fusion rifles in mind and check your vault and see if you have a good one. Maybe you threw some of them in the vault without really thinking, and this is the perfect time to actually take them out. So all of those are going to be fantastic fusion rifles for this coming season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What is your favorite fusion rifle? Are you guys looking forward to the new episode? And all of that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Now, I don't know if the next video is going to be like the video on the normal fusion runs. It might be a different kind of video, so I can't promise anything. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for stopping by. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.